Let's see what's up, hi-rez studios. Susano skin? Ao Quang skin? That's the Bailey skin. I saw the concept for that a while ago. We should have the tier 5 Bellona today at some point. Should we log it? Okay.
Good afternoon.
Hi,
and welcome
Hindu.
to another update show. This should be the time that the patch notes or the update show, as you now know it, will be on from now on. So 3 o'clock in the afternoons in Eastern time. Over in Europe, it's in the evening, so it's a bit better over Friday night before you go out and get drinks. That's what you should be looking forward to. On this patch, obviously we've got plenty to talk about. It's the Divine Dragon patch, first of all. We're going to be having bug fixes, balance, and of course skins, and part of those skins will be that Bellona tier 5. So stay tuned for that later on. But here's some of the skins you get to look forward to this week.
If Bellona gets buffed before her tier 5
something
skin,
that you guys have all hoped for a while. Chef Vulcan is finally going to be here.
They're
with
really
his
making Chef
and
Vulcan,
maybe
dude.
some pizza too. He's been cooking up a storm. I don't know any other puns that I can think of.
The
You've asked
longest
for it,
time
you get
coming.
it. There he is.
This
It's
is
Vulcan.
literally the longest time coming skin
And he
in
makes
Smite.
meatballs.
Years.
Next up, Midnight Raven Isis. She's off to the Masquerade
Finally,
Ball, and
a
you
nice
can be
skin.
too if you purchase this skin. Yes, I'm in sales mode today, and as you can see, those lovely feathers will help you fly around the map in the most elegant of ways.
Kind of like the other skins better.
Finally, the Isis, we've got Titanium Tracker Jabelonke. He's very good at tracking titanium, or hopefully stacks of his passive, which are going to be useful for him in this game. This skin will be lovely to look at a little bit later on. Look at that cute little star.
Kind of reminds me of like the
And on
Zeus
top of
Janus
that,
skin, which I'm not a big
the
fan
Admiral is here. No, it's
That's
not
cool, though.
Akbar. It's Ao Quang.
That's a
He's
cool
got
skin,
himself
though.
a skin. He looks almost
Human
in this
Quang.
form as well.
Human
we'll see a little
handsome
bit more of that
Quang.
later on. Last, but certainly not
Human
least, we're going to
handsome
have
Quang.
Heat Sink Pele
I had to get
coming
Pele
to you
skin,
guys
too.
as well. Yes,
I like when they like
visor,
really
some
like
nasty looking blades
differentiate,
for her, too.
you know?
And of course, last but not
I like
least,
when they
with
let-
you,
when
like
they
I said
kinda don't
earlier,
even
when we
look like
talk about the
themselves
Bellona skin.
anymore,
Don't
like,
show it yet.
it's
I'm
cool.
going to make you wait. You're going to have to wait for the Bellona skin, okay? That's what needs to happen here. But that's it from me for a minute, because it's the most
Hindu.
important part of the show next, which is all about balance,
Yes.
bug fixes,
Yes.
and of course, gods. Let's head over to John Finch and Pop Pop.
Thanks, Senior Man. It is
Finch is
me,
here.
Finch, here. What can only be considered an objective upgrade over Aggro, who normally is the one this patch notes show. So I expect it'll be a lot better for you all here today. But it's not just me. I am, of course, joined here by Pon Pon. We're going to be going through, you know, not just those bug fixes. We're going through some big balance changes here as well in terms of items and with gods. The new item y'all already teased. And I'm loving some of these god changes too.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting, and we're going to have a little bit of spoiler for some other future stuff, too.
That's right. I saw that in there. I was personally very excited. We'll make sure that we at least hint at those for you all coming forward. But first, let's go ahead and start with those bug fixes. First off, fixed an issue where ramp up CC effects were not applying diminishing returns in the intended way.
Yes.
That sounds like a general bug fix, but probably a good thing to fix, right? If
Fixed an
CC wasn't
issue where
applying
ramp
diminishing
up
returns,
CC
but
effects
Basically
not
applied
applying
to
diminishing
Chronos.
returns.
Okay, just
What?
So, it does affect Baron Somnium.
kind of a
as
big
well,
deal.
But the ramp up effect is now classified so that it's the type of CC it ramps up to.
It's kind of a big
That
deal.
also meant it applied the diminishing returns that those types of effects do. So essentially, Cronus was stunning and then stunning. So that actual FOP stun was much shorter than it should have been.
Okay.
So now Cronus players will actually have the intended duration of their stun, and that's going to be fixed for future.
That's
ramp
actually
two
a pretty
effects.
big
That's
buff
a good
for
idea. I mean,
Chronos.
I feel like Emily wasn't that
honestly.
strong on Chronos anyway, right? So let's
So-
just give him a little bit of extra love there, but that's not the only thing we're working on for today, Pon Pon. Let's take a talk. Look at the UI that we got some adjustments here with as well. Fix an issue where there was a few seconds delay after a time queue finished matchmaking, but before you actually went into the lobby, that was a little bit scary. You thought you were back
like the
in
heart
the
attack.
queue. Thought you're back in the queue again, had to wait again, but that should be fixed. Fix an issue where the Masters
was
dual
annoying.
loading frame was displaying incorrectly, so there's not as many Masters
yes,
players
the
out there
loading
as
frame
perhaps I
issues.
thought, I guess. So that's
Yeah, the glitchy frames were part of optimization stuff that we were doing that got a little bit haywire, so it's being fixed.
Good. Glad that's taken care of. Fix an issue where all team
A
badge
likely
content
story.
was just showing as trifecta. That's one
Yes,
more that's
it
been
was.
adjusted. And fix an issue where ranked,
it was.
ranked quest progress was not being shown, so you should be able to see all that now. So glad we got that taken care of. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty
pretty
good.
good stuff.
All right, let's go on classic.
Trifecta's had a lot of support.
Looks like efficient issue where tower collision would remain even when the towers were destroyed. I know there were some people that were saying, "Oh, the invisible towers." That
That's
sort of thing. I
annoying.
imagine that issue should be taken care of.
That's kind of annoying.
There's many tweets about it, but yeah, we fixed it. It's definitely fixed now. The tower will go away when it's supposed to go away.
That's
Okay,
good.
Everything should be
I
working.
didn't play Joust,
well,
so who cares,
now you all
but
can go back
that's
to just
still
not having
annoying.
fun in that mode because it's annoying. It's because
No,
the
it
new
has-
Joust is better. The new Joust is better.
It has some interesting stuff to it. It's actually been kind of cool to see people kind of relearn the mode.
It is definitely. There's some relearning. Some gods you didn't realize were quite strong on there, I think. So I've had some fun out there as well, Pon. But Morgan getting a little bit of updates here as well, just in terms of making sure that everything's working with her. First, the gold gains while transformed should now properly display on the UI.
Pretty decent amount of bug fixes. It's
Added
good.
some extra functionality
Good
to
for
prevent
them.
or
This
reduce
is a
the
good
chances
amount of bug
of the
fixes.
bug occurring where she has no abilities for a short time after transforming as well. So some touches being done here on the Morgan.
Yep. Anytime I can go back and look
Good,
at
good.
Morgan and find any bugs and fix them, it's always a good thing. She's a very complicated goddess.
Yes.
So especially the ability to use your abilities like after you transform. If it's delayed, it feels really, really kind of wonky, and it can also get you killed really quickly. So fixing that is a huge deal.
That's nice. Getting her updated. One more thing I think that was on here was that the fixing issue where the player camera would jump across the map for a brief time when transforming through her ultimate. So glad everything with her should be working
weird bug.
as intended, or at least got
Let's be
these
real.
things touched
Morgan's
up there.
never
So
going to
nice
work
have
as
Morgan
intended.
looking a little
It's
bit
just
better
as
out
close
there on
to
the
intended as
battleground.
possible.
It's time to go to items.
Yeah.
And
There's
in
a lot of-
particular, going to the new item.
Yes.
Oh, we're doing new
Berserker
item
Shield.
first.
Berserker's Shield. I know you all were really excited
There
about
we
this one. We
go.
did some spoilers for it. A lot of people, I think, kind of figured out the idea here, but
Don't do
this
it.
is the one. It seems like it's going to be kind of that auto
Don't do it.
attackers item,
No,
right? Is the one.
don't do it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think before kind of going into the stats it has, just kind of a more holistic approach to these kind of
Don't
removed
do
items
it.
that we removed from the game, potentially bringing them back in some interesting way. Death Toll is essentially what this item was for basic attack warriors. And the biggest thing that Death Toll kind of caused that created a very difficult balance situation was how early you could get it. So
25
we look
power,
to bring kind of these
15
effects back into the
protections,
game to help those characters that
15%
really liked
attack
it,
speed, and it's
but
gonna
not
give
make sure
passive
it's
like
broken
the
in the state it
friggin'
was before. We have to see
HP
what's
5 or
really, really
whatever.
powerful about that. So, for
The
example,
HP and
this is
nano.
Death Toll. It can be bought super early. Now, if you're going to go into it, you're going to have to do kind of a weirder start because it's 1,700 gold. You can't just start with it. Other items like a Golden Bow, which might be the tease.
Oh yeah.
For example, that
They're
item
not-
is particularly broken due to
they're
how
not
early
bringing
you can get
back-
it, as well as how powerful the effect was with crit, as well as how hunters have used it.
If they make this
So
item
maybe in some
just to
capacity
buff
we can look at that
Bellona
and
before
try
a
and
tier
bring
5
that
skin, I'm
back in a way that
actually
doesn't
rioting.
Cause the break cases that we saw before in
Like,
the similar
come
manner that
on.
we're doing to Berserker Shield.
It's so
That's
troll.
right. So the idea is sort of we still want that effect. We want to be able to get that sort
Yeah.
of play style, but maybe not as easily as before. So it looks like this will be sort of along the same lines as Gladiator Shield, I imagine, with this price point and all that stuff that we'll sort of go through here. So I'll go and talk to you a little bit about it. It is going to be 1,700 gold. You're going to get 25 physical power, 15 physical protection, 15 attack speed, but I really feel like it's all about that passive. Hitting enemy with the basic attack restores 1% health and mana. Basic attacks at all enemies in melee range restore 0.5% health and mana on every enemy after the first. So if they got like the cleave auto, I suppose, when that comes in.
Yep, and it's also a little bit more offensive than Gladiator Shield as well. We have the attack speed, more power instead of protection, so the other way around. And that's also because a lot of those basic attack warriors have kind of more.
They
defensive
literally
tools
tried
already in the
this
kit, and so rather than
on
amplifying
Gladiator
the stuff they
Shield,
already have,
and then they
we're shifting
removed
so
it
that
from
they can
Gladiator
lean on
Shield
that
because they were
strength,
like,
skillfully,
holy
and
crap,
then
this
utilize
item
that
is
item well.
Do you
broken.
think there's room to put both in there, or would that just be too slow for you?
I
or-
think 3,400 gold for not as much sustain as you could through just raw mitigations is going
Right.
to be rough. You either use one better or the other better.
Sounds like you might
They
end up
already
having to choose
removed
which
it from
one's going to work
BGF,
out
but
for
it
you
was
better.
too
But
strong.
the Osiris is out there. Should be, I imagine, a little bit happier with this change coming in
Osiris
there,
OP,
Pon. So
we're
that's
letting people
the
on
Berserker
OP.
Shield. And you teased as well, we might be seeing something along the lines of that golden bow, but without the throwing dagger part that was
Yeah.
so frustrating, right? So hopefully we'll see that one out there later. But Gem of Isolation also getting touched up a little bit. Going to be the next one on here, getting a nerf. So on this one, looks like we're going to change on this one, Pon. Why'd we go to Gem of Isolation?
So Gem of Isolation is just
Why
an item
is
that's
Gem
very good
getting
at
nerfed?
amplifying these kind of more tankier mages or the abilities for mages to really kite effectively. It gives them a lot of health in addition to that kiting power. It gives them a lot of power so that they can actually deal damage. So it's kind of this catch-all item that's really
weird.
Utilized well, especially
I
in
see Gem
non-conquest
picked up
modes.
once
We
every
see this item
5
get picked up
games.
very often, utilized very heavily. There's a lot of high frustration characters in those other game modes
weird.
that really utilize Gem of
It's like,
Isolation well.
there's like
So
3
we're focusing
mages
on
that pick
what
it up,
should
and
its
they're
strength
not even
be,
like
and we think the offensive
crazy
nature
strong
of hitting opponents
mages.
with your spells to get
It's
the
weird.
utility is really where it's at. The bonus health made
Just like
players
Zonkui
too
is
tanky
strong
when
and
they
he
pick this item
buys
up.
it, so like
decreasing the health a
Twitter
little bit so
nerfs
players
Zonkui, I
have more
guess.
counterplay options when trying to deal with someone who has Gem of Isolation.
That's right. It's all about, you should be making some kind of choice there, but you were kind of getting to have all that utility
Yeah.
and be pretty tanky too. So just that health decreased from 250 to 200 on Gem of Isolation. But the next one coming up is going to be Mystical Mail, another item that getting a little bit of love, getting buffed here, and Mystical Mail now
That's
provides
kinda
20% crowd control
Interesting.
reduction.
Nobody
This is
picks
just
it up,
kinda
but that's not bad.
additive on here.
I
Okay,
can
talk
deal
to
with
me about
that.
this one.
That's a
Yeah,
good
so we
buff.
see people pick this item up a pretty high amount, not like as most as like other items that we see, but people pick it up. But it
Interesting.
doesn't perform that well statistically. So
Sure.
we're looking at a way to kind of
I
bring
don't
up
hate
its
it.
power level overall. And there's things
It
that we've
makes it
done in the past
popular,
that
though.
result in high
Holy.
frustration. If we increase the damage,
That's a
it
big,
gets very frustrating. If we increase the health it provides and the protections, you become too tanky and you can just run into opponents. If we
Mystical
decrease the
Mail,
price or do any of those other adjustments, it can also cause some issues.
Bellona with
The
that
side
new
to actually
item.
focus on what it really at its core is trying to do is give you the tanky stats to get in melee range and stick on someone. And so crowd control reduction to reduce
Warrior
the appeal
buff.
people can apply to
Warrior
you
buff.
seems to fit that goal pretty well.
And this is a nice
Guys,
one,
it
too, because
happens
crowd control
every year.
reduction, It
We
is
go
certainly
through
in the
the
game, but
year.
it's not all over
It
the
starts
place.
off
It's
as a
nice to have
burst
one more
meta,
area
and as the
where
year
it's gonna
goes
get this
on,
stat
we
from, so I like
slowly
that
get
idea.
into our tank
Next
meta.
up, though, on the list, gonna be Rage that's getting a look at. This one's getting buffed, so those hunters with the
Rage
crit build can get a little bit more love here. This one, this is just a decrease.
I don't mind
cost
the
from
Rage
2,500
as a single
to
crit item.
2,400, so not too huge, but maybe should make it a little bit more efficient to build into this.
Yeah, and we kind of look at Rage as the introductory item to crit, where players can pick this up like as the first item they get a
Right.
good amount of crit, so that when they build the Deathbringer, when they build the Poison Star, when they build any of the other crit items, you already have that solid base of crit. So bringing the cost down helps enable those builds a little bit more.
Should make that one that you want to pick up even more often. You want to get those stacks going as
Yep.
soon as possible. Next item on the list is going to be Talisman of Energy. This one's also getting a buff. Decreased cost from 2250 to 2150, so about another
I
100
think
gold
Talisman's a
adjustment,
good
but this
item.
time on a bit more of a defensive
I
option.
really do.
Yeah, so we looked at it at kind of like removing
They
the passive.
keep
What
buffing
it does
it.
give you health and magical protection, and there's other
And I
health
think
and
it's
magical
good.
protections that just do what that does better at different costs that are more accessible. And so since it's on the lower end of that spectrum, we feel like we could bring the cost down so that when you want to pick this
I
up
think
as
it's
kind of health
underrated.
and magic protection item, you can, especially when you can actually utilize that passive component that really helps you enable your team to push forward off the minion wave. So players who can find opportunities to build this into their build, they see opportunities where they need magical protection, can pick this up and feel good about it.
Yeah, we've seen in the SPL at least
Sleeper
some people
item.
picking this up when they're going in for their like final sieges,
Yep.
that sort of thing. This should make it a little bit easier to maybe get that last push going there and even try and finish off some games.
I
So
think
like
it's
what we're seeing here,
definitely a
Pond.
sleeper
We got
item.
some nice item
100%.
recaps here taken care of today. In fact, we can take
Oh,
a
that's
look
really the item
just
note.
at
So
the
no-
recap of all the items we've gone
I
over. The
guess
big one, of
no
course, was the
golden
addition
bow?
of
Alright.
Berserker's
I mean,
Shield,
good.
that
I mean,
auto
good.
attack
They shouldn't
item over there that
exist.
can help out some
So
solo
maybe they're
laners,
saying they're gonna put
maybe even
golden
some
bow
other
back in the game
applications,
later?
as well as we've got some other changes here. You saw
That
Gem of
new shield is
Isolation,
nuts,
getting a
though.
little bit of a nerf,
That's
but Mystical Mail,
flipping
Rage, and
nuts.
Talisman of Energy all getting buffed. Those items can be just a little bit stronger. But Pawn, it's not just items
1%.
that we're taking a look at today.
Then
We
another
got some
0.5
gods that
for
we want to
extra
do.
god
And
hit.
we'll start from the beginning with the A's up here with Agni. It looks like Agni is getting a little bit of a nerf,
Nerf
here in this
him,
one, in
thank you.
particular towards rain fire. That's going to be the ultimate, obviously. Decreased
Ooh.
damage.
I
from
kinda thought they
160,
would just make it cost
195,
mana
300.
at some point.
Looks like it's starting off at 140, going all the way
Agni's
back up
been
through
so
300,
strong
so
for
it's a
so
nerf
long
sort of
now.
at that top end
So.
at the very beginning, but
Yep.
at the end you'll still have that same amount of
I don't mind him
Exactly,
getting
and
nerfed.
so I think the big thing here is to focus on is Agni has kind of fallen into a pretty good spot where people actually feel like he's actually doing well.
Yes.
Which is kind of rare for him. He's always seen as this kind of average character that fills the meta roles when he needs
Agni's
to.
been
But
top
he's
3 for
consistently
months
stayed
now.
in a very top spot for a
Months.
while, and he's been slowly climbing popularity,
So.
win rate, ban rate. And so the big thing we looked at was his level 5
I don't mind him
pressure. Once
getting
he
a
gets that
pretty
level 5
solid
pressure,
nerf right there.
which
He's
ganks,
been
you
really,
get bombed
really
immediately
strong for a
ton
long
damage
time.
and you die. So we're decreasing that damage a little bit, but letting him scale at the same point because we feel like his late game is in a pretty solid place overall. I think the other thing to touch on here is
That doesn't kill
the
Agni
common
either. You're
suggested
fine.
nerf for Agni is actually a mana cost reduction on this ability, or
Right.
mana cost adding
Increase,
it to
yeah,
this
sure.
ability.
what I
And
just
so
said.
one reason why he didn't want to
What
do
I
that
just
was
said.
he's kind of bounced around the playstyle he has of not having mana on the ultimate. For example, he always kind of has to combo his abilities with the Noxious Fumes, as well as it's kind of a unique aspect of Agni, a unique thing about that ability that it doesn't cost mana. You can use it when you use the charges. The charges are your limiting factor, not mana. And so we wanted to preserve that without making him too frustrating in other modes, or not other modes, and without being too frustrating to deal with in the early game.
Right.
And so the big thing here is decreased early game damage, helps players deal with him early on when that's his most prevalent state, and then his late game can scale to where it currently does, which we feel was in a pretty good spot.
So he should
Early
still be
game nerf
fairly
works for me.
strong in the mid game. I mean, it looks like at
Works
third
for me.
rank, you're really only
He'll
losing
still be
about
super
10
strong.
power from it. It's really just
Yeah.
that initial rank.
It's better
or
than
two
nothing, though.
Where I feel like it's
But if they
really
nerf
gonna,
Agni
you're
like
gonna
not
be able to feel
Freya,
it. But other than
or
that,
Chernobog-
you should still feel pretty comfortable on the Agni.
Yep, overall.
Well, we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about the next one here. Going to be Opwash, actually getting a nerf this time. That might come to surprise to some of you, but if you're in these other modes, then maybe it won't be coming as a
Yes.
surprise. Joust, Assault, those sorts of places, Opwash can be really a nightmare to deal with.
Well, what's interesting is actually all over the place. He's actually doing really well, especially since we gave him his more anti-heal focus on his ultimate.
Right.
That helps him fill this kind of conquest niche that he didn't really have before. And so that way, when you pick him, you're very clearly sending a message of I'm picking a widespread anti-heal. I want to punish
Outwash will
healers.
never be
And that's pretty
viable.
healthy for him to be.
He'll never be
But
viable in Conquest
in those
because they
situations,
can't
we brought
make
him
him
way
viable.
above in other modes.
Right.
Assault, Joust.
Every time they try to
Clash,
make Outwash
even in
viable,
Arena,
he
we're
breaks
seeing a lot of
every
those
other
modes
game mode, so they have to nerf him.
really hard time against him. And so we're looking to do targeted nerfs to bring him down in those modes, but not nerfs that
Every
are
time.
necessarily going to undo what we've done for him in Conquest.
Well, let's go through them a little bit and talk about
Literally
some of
every
those changes.
time.
First, Undead Surge. That's getting an increased cooldown from 12 seconds to 14 seconds, so a little bit longer in between. We're going to be able to throw those corpses out. The corpse explosion itself.
It is what it
getting
is.
Quite a few changes, it looks like here.
Well, so
Decrease-
this is interesting.
Yeah, talk to me about
this.
this
Is actually a bit
Okay.
confusing for a little bit when,
Yeah.
when we were discussing this. This was
What?
a change we actually did in 5.13, but we didn't
so it's already
say.
done.
So it's already there. He already has this in live. This is what people have been playing with since 5.13. It was a proposed nerf that we were going to do in 5.13, and through the 5.13 shuffle, we were planning to undo it, but we never actually did. But it's there, and we feel like it's actually appropriate, so we're going to keep it there. His stats overall are showing that he's doing very well with this nerf in place.
Well, there you go. That damage decrease that you're seeing on our screen, that's already in the. You've been playing with it, so now
Yeah.
at least you know you should know about it a
Okay,
little bit more.
well,
so you know that one's already happening.
go.
But one other change here was Empty the Crypts. This one had the cooldown increase
Jesus.
from 90 seconds to 100
Holy
seconds.
cow.
I imagine since it's persisting now,
Yep.
it feels like it's a lot more
Guys,
just
leave
have it out
Quash
there less.
alone.
Yeah, the amount of zone control this ability
I've seen him
provides
play
now, the
twice in
anti-heal
Conquest.
provides,
I'm pretty
is
sure
a
he
much
lost
stronger
both the
effect than
games.
Our traditional 90-second ultimates. So we're just bumping
Right.
up to 100.
This
so
is
that
a joke.
When Outwash chooses to play this down,
They didn't
if you
nerf-
are able
they
to
nerfed
avoid
Freya by
successfully or able to get out of
10%
it
last
successfully and
patch.
kind of like wait back. You have more
And they just
opportunity
triple
to get rid of
womp-
Outwash before he gets it back again.
On Posh,
What a world
who's
we're
not
in,
even
huh?
played.
Yeah.
Quash. Getting some nerfs out here after a while,
happens.
but he's been strong for a while, so
Jeez, he
I like that
hasn't.
we're seeing
He
these. But
hasn't.
let's move on to the next god here, Pawn. Going to be a hunter we're looking at this time.
Chernobog.
Apollo actually getting a little bit of love on this one. Serenade
Yeah.
Chernobog,
is
please.
getting, looks like getting an increase to the mesmerized duration. This is a pretty
pretty
big deal, I feel
big
like. It started off at
buff.
0.7,
1.1
1.1,
now.
1.9,
Interesting.
2.3. Now it's going to be 1.1, 1.4, 1.7, 2 seconds, and then 2.3. So pretty substantial towards the beginning.
Yep.
Okay.
So I think the big thing here is we gave Apollo his knockback up again on his ultimate.
Right.
I
And
think
we watched
Apollo's
how he
pretty
performed with
strong.
that
I
as
think
players
Apollo's
started learning
underrated,
and trying to
honestly.
utilize it, and it didn't really move him in any substantial way.
think
especially one that
Apollo's
they're hoping for to
underrated.
Bring him kind of more up into line with other hunters. And
he's
we
not
kinda
getting
looked at
played
what
a ton,
Apollo
but I
brings
like him as a
uniquely to the
mid-hunter.
table, and that's is kind of these extra utility.
Don't buy
aspects
that
of his kit.
stupid new bow.
So Serenade, the Mesmerize is a very powerful CC effect, but the early ranks was 0.7 seconds, and it was very hard to actually utilize well, and like the way Mesmerizes traditionally are, which is you pop it, everyone stops attacking to set up what they want to do, and then they coordinate attack together. 0.7 seconds is just a bit too short for that, as well as the attacks, or not the attacks, the movement speed portion of the moves. We're going to bring up at the early levels as well, so that players can utilize that movement speed early on in the game. Because even when you hit an opponent with it and you get the buff yourself, it was only a 10% movement swing, which traditionally other abilities have stronger movement swings, especially at the first rank.
All right.
That's right. This increased movement speed on the moves being increased from 5, 10, 15, 20 to 25% to 15,
Oh, wow.
17.5,
Also,
20, 22.5,
whoa.
25%. Again, both of these are going to be the same
Whoa.
at that max
An
rank. It's just
extra
early
10%
on when these are getting a little bit of
early.
love. And as you
Wow.
said, now Mesmerize, or the Serenade rather, should be a little bit easier of a tool for Apollo to
That's
get the
actually
most
a
out
bigger
of
buff
those
in my
early
opinion.
ranks. So
That
some
means
love
you're-
going his
you're
way.
chasing
Hopefully we'll
the
see
early
some
game
more
with that
chariots
dash.
flying around
Yeah.
now after this
Ooh,
change.
that's a
but
big buff.
next, we'll
Wow.
move on to the next guy that's getting a little bit of change here. It's going to be Chalk this time. Also, is getting a buff, and this time it looks like Overflow is the one that's going to be changing.
Yes.
I don't
Why don't we
even
take a
know
look here
what
at Chalk?
Overflow is.
So Overflow as a passive was just a bit kind
passive.
of generic. It provided a strong effect, but you didn't
Oh,
really
so
play
it-
around it too much, and if you did, it
3
wasn't the most
mana,
impactful thing to
and
play
now it
around.
lowers the
So we wanted
cooldown
to
of
give
the
it a bit more
ability that
oomph,
triggers
and
it.
decision making.
I wonder if it's going to be percentage. That would be
So
interesting.
when you have 5
Like on
stacks
your
and you use
ulti.
an ability, that ability is basically free mana cost. We've now added
Okay.
to that, so it'll still do that. But at 5 charges, the ability you choose to spend that free mana on is also going to be reduced by 2 seconds. So if you want to throw your
yeah,
axe
2
down
seconds. Who
faster,
cares? Okay.
use the charges on your
I mean,
axe.
2
If you
seconds
wanna
is good.
Do the teleport
That's a
and
big deal
speed
for like his
things
axe or
faster,
whatever. Just not
use
use-
that. If
you
you
don't
want
wanna
to
use
rain more
obviously
often,
his ulti.
use the
Who
rain
cares
on
about
the
2
charge.
seconds?
And so
But
that
on your
gives
1 or
extra level
something,
decision making to this ability, as well
That's
as
a big
helping
buff.
chalk players
It's a big buff.
overall, especially the
So-
chalk players who can use chalk well to be successful.
It should help them out quite a bit. Not only is it going to be cast for free like they already have, but you're going to have it back up even
Yep.
sooner to get back into the fray. And that's one of those things. Chalk kind of feels like one of the gods that does almost enough. So maybe this help pushes him over that edge a little bit, right? He's right up at that line, it feels like. But he's not the only warrior. It's getting a little bit of love. Sun Wukong is also going to be getting some changes.
We just
here,
moved from
and
Chalk
quite
to
some
Wukong.
significant ones to a couple of.
Please tell me we didn't
before
just
we go into
skip
specifically, you want
past.
to talk to me about why
Please
we
tell
want
me
to
this is
adjust
buffs.
Sun Wukong
This
here?
is buffs, right?
Sun
We're gonna get
Wukong
nerfs
is a
after.
character that kinda
We're gonna
goes
get
in
nerfs
cycles
after.
of
We
being
didn't
really
skip over
strong
Freya
and
and
being kind of
Turtle.
out of the meta
And
for
why
a
are we
while.
buffing Wukong?
And he's kind of in that slump of not being necessarily in the meta right now.
I
He
see
has
him. I see
some opportunities
Wukong
come in, but not as
every
much as
other
he
game
before.
right now.
And so we're going to give him some additional utility, but we want to be careful about how we give that utility. If we, like, for example, reduce the cooldown on the one, it becomes this really annoying poke tool that you're just constantly being hit by.
Only
with
5%
no
though is
counterplay.
okay.
Having it on the long
5% is
cooldown means that
okay.
you're dealing with that less often. You have more opportunities to get in on Sun Wukong, and that promotes a more healthy playstyle. So, for example, we're not.
Oh my
we're not
God, you're right.
increasing
They
or
nerfed
decreasing the
Agni and
cooldown on the one.
Poach.
We've looked kind of at our previous nerfs.
Genuinely, if this patch is going through without a nerf to Freya or Chernobog, I'm
That's right.
pretty
The way that we sort
positive
of
that
handled that
they
was
don't
that
know
he
what
does
they're
the
doing,
bonus damage to
actually.
minions in the jungle camps, which I
Yes.
like very much, and that's what this changes here as well. It increased
Or,
on the magic
you know,
cudgel the bonus
Robin or
damage to
Najal.
those minions in jungle camps from 25% to 30%. So his clear speed should be a little bit higher now, able to secure his own buffs a little bit easier and outclear some of those opponents that he has to deal with in lane. Master's Will is getting the decreased cooldown from 12 seconds to 10 seconds, and then 72 transformations, specifically the Ox form, is just getting that increased damage. Again, that's
I'm
more
sorry,
towards the
they're just
front
like
end,
they just like
where it
rolled through
goes
like
from
12
50, 90,
pages.
130, 170, 210 to 70, 105, 140, 175,
Okay.
210.
Yep, and so Master's Will is an ability that you actually have to get really close in to utilize well, which is
That was a
kind of
whole
more warrior brawl
bunch
style,
of
so we like
buffs
that
to
cooldown
Sun
reduction.
Wukong.
He's being rewarded for constantly being
Why?
in the thick of the team fight and getting
Right.
multiple ones of these off, as well as
Increased
Ox form, the
damage,
early
passive
damage was very
scaling on the
low,
one to minions.
which it is a lower damage.
Lower
ability as a
2
whole,
second
which is why
cooldown
especially
on your
doesn't-
2.
base damage
Increased
is low
Ox
and it
damage
doesn't
on the
scale to nearly
3.
as high as, for example, Tiger or any of the other abilities. But 50 was a bit too low. It became a weird point where if you tried to actually spend a point to get it, you were often like hurting yourself, even in situations where it's good,
Okay.
like to disrupt a channeled ability by knocking them up.
I think
You would often
Wukong
actually
just
be
went
in
from
a worse
like
spot for having spent that
good
point,
to
especially in 1, 2, 3,
great.
than if you had just actually spent the extra point in the magic.
There's
cudgel
been like
or
4
the,
people that have been strictly playing Wukong
Right,
solos because they
Magic
think it's the
Cudgel or
best
Or
solo.
Master's Will. Like, you've made the right point choice in
But-
the matchup
Yeah.
where you're interrupting, but you're losing damage
Factor
overall,
in
right? So
the new
this way,
shield
if you're
that
kind of
buffs
getting that
auto
counterplay and doing
attackers,
the right choices,
like the
you can feel a little
Osiris
more
or like
rewarded. So I
Bellona.
definitely like that
He
idea
doesn't
there on the Sun
benefit from
Wukong
that
buff.
item,
We'll see a
so
little bit more of him, I
maybe
imagine.
it'll be
but I like these
okay.
with Poseidon. This one's considered kind of, I guess, a fixed buff where
Yeah.
there are some just buffs in here as well, but it's kind of just some change on it. We'll go through them, Pon, and you can tell me afterwards what happened here. The first one, we fixed an issue with Tidal Surge, where the moving deployable, which causes collision height to be shorter than intended, so that hit a little bit more efficiently, but also that ties in with the change to Kraken, where we normalize the knock-up height of this. So you could rank it up and change the knock-up height from this one, right? Is
Yes.
what's happening.
So multiple things that were weird here. One was the knock-up of the ultimate, which feels like a great setup for the one, was often not because you knock them up and then the Tidal Surge would go underneath.
It'd be like too high.
Yeah,
You're not gonna-
and especially the effects.
Huh.
Actually, the effects are low to the ground, so it makes sense a little bit. If you get knocked too high, the effects go underneath you. You don't get hit. The actual collision box is actually lower than those effects, so you're basically being extra punished. Now they better match that height, so it's more often that you would
Okay.
actually land this. As well as we've normalized the knock-up height, which was kind of just this weird extra thing you had to know. For example, if you had the rank 1 of the ultimate, you would actually often still hit your Tidal Surge, but late game, you'd start missing it, and it felt like this inconsistent experience. Now it is consistent. It does make it a little bit stronger in the early game, because the knock-up height is going to be higher, therefore your knock-up
I
longer.
literally
It's
had
a
no
little bit down
idea
on the
that was
late
on his
game,
ulti.
but the difference between
After
those
playing all
knock-up heights
these
is gonna be
years.
pretty
How do you
minimal,
have something on
in
that
terms of, like, what
ability
you'll
and
notice
not
when you play.
put it
Yeah,
in
the
the
scale
description?
it was leveling up. It started at 300, 325, 350, 375, 400.
That's
now it's
crazy.
just 375 all
Yeah.
the time. So you should be able to get the same timing
That's
consistently
crazy.
throughout the game to always make sure you're able to follow with Tidal Surge. But that's a bit of an interesting one. You just kind of had to know before to time it slightly differently, but now you should be able to consistently hit all those.
Yep. Once you learn it, you've learned it. Good job.
Alright
You've
then.
executed on it well.
Should be a little bit
Okay.
more success than with some of those Poseidons out there. Hopefully, it wasn't any too much frustration for you, but now you can definitely hit it every single time. But that
whack,
is going to
dude.
do it for the gods. Let's go take a look at all the
I
changes that we've
cannot
made to them. Again,
believe they
Apollo,
didn't nerf
Chalk, Wukong, and
any
Poseidon,
of
all
them.
getting a little bit of love. Poseidon,
even fake
specifically more
nerf
just
them.
making things a little bit more consistent.
How are you gonna buff
and then
or
Agni,
nerf
All
all plush?
Tone, a little bit
But in
toned
like
down,
8
All
abilities
Plush,
and
you know,
not
getting a little
touch
bit
any
little bit too
of
strong in
them,
all the
man.
modes, and Agni getting a little bit of change there to the Rainfire.
Yep.
That's
overall,
so
this should help
frustrating.
those characters out perform a little bit better, or the characters who are performing help players feel a little less frustrated fighting
Pawn.
against
There's
them.
literally
And
like
keep everyone
6
feedback in mind.
characters
We'll
with
see how it plays out with the
100%
5-17
pick
update
ban
this
rate
weekend.
in ranked.
It was nice working with you here,
100%
man.
is
Get
the
to
ban
this-
rate.
Yeah, who needs that aggro guy? He doesn't
How
even
did
need to
they
come
not
back.
get touched
But the way
at
that things went
all?
here today, but we'll get it back
No
over to
Neja,
Savage,
no
the
Robin,
gambler
no Cherno,
himself
no Freya.
on the casuals.
Nothing.
So many names, and yet I'm still here doing the same old thing, eh? Well, if you missed the balance and update section, the one thing you really need to know is that Apollo will be in every single game buying Berserker's shield. Or will he? We'll find out. Now, though, turning to the guests on the set here, we're going to be having Isaiah and Arvin joining us.
That's
from
very,
esports and community.
very, very,
How are you guys doing?
very
Doing
frustrating.
very well. How
as a
about you,
ranked
Hindu?
player.
I'm not too bad. I
Very
can't complain too much. It's nice to be on the casual set again, not strapped behind the
All right,
desk.
you guys got
So
some nice,
comfy.
comfy couches over here.
It's not so bad. It's not so bad. Arvin, first of all, then, what have we got going on in esports?
We have the fall split starting next week.
It is.
We kick things off this coming Monday, 11 a.m., SMITE Console League. And then the SPO starts in full on Tuesday at 1 p.m.
Okay, so we've got a lot to look forward to in terms of esports then coming forward. Obviously on console as well, remember, PlayStation 4 is going to be available on
That's
Monday.
right.
as
Space
well,
Station.
not
Oh my
just
God.
Xbox,
E
so
United
even
and
more
Space
links coming
Station
to it.
are against
But let's
each
have a
other
look at
in
the
their
first
first
week of
game,
the SPL. Is
and they
any,
switched
anything
mid
stand out to you
laners.
two at all?
That's
Who knows?
spicy.
Definitely
That's
game one on
spicy.
Tuesday. Energy
Oh, yeah.
versus Rival. It's going to be a good one.
That's a great way to kick
You
off a
spotted
split.
that early. Yeah. It's
a
I
classic.
don't know how it always ends up falls that we put two of the best teams
Right?
together on the
Yeah.
first day, but you know, it's good
Shout
that
out
the
to
matches
League
work
Ops, I
out that
guess.
way. But not only that with esports, what else have you got from the Alpha?
We also have HRX coming up. It is the fall split. It is the last split of the year,
We're getting
and we
so
are
close.
so close, so much closer. We are barreling towards
Wow.
the World Championships,
Closer
and
than
tickets
usual.
are available
Closer.
now.
Oh,
so
no,
you should
when is
definitely
it?
get them while
It's
they're
the
hot.
16th through
You can
the
head over
18th.
to
I got you guys. Don't worry
hi-rezexpo.com
about
to
it.
pick those up.
I don't need to be here. You guys can do this without me. It's quite easy. Yeah, hi-rez.com. Don't forget, though, we are currently selling as well on and off the after party tickets. So keep your eyes peeled for those after party tickets that will go up at relative times to purchase there, especially after the party. So enough about esports. We could do that all the time. Community, what's going on?
Well, like,
What's
not
going
enough about esports yet. Like, we got a couple of
got
fan favorite esports players coming up in 5/16.
We do?
The Spring Fling donation reward. Jeff
Barrymore
Himla,
pack.
Barracuda announcer pack coming in 5/16. Tina gave me a preview earlier, and
Yeah.
like, it's an instant equip for me. Like, I have to have it.
So we don't have it available on this now, right? Just so you know, but I'm pretty sure you'll get a leak of it sooner or later. Or it'll
Definitely.
be on the PTS too. But
Okay.
Jeff and Barrow announcer pack.
Yes, it's hype.
Is it
So
good?
hype. Yeah, it's so good.
So excited.
Okay, I'm excited to see what lines they put in themselves, and because I know they're asking the community for some lines too. So we'll see how that works on. And talk about community, stream days coming again.
That's right. A new adventure means a new community stream day. So next Tuesday, all you have to do is pick your favorite streaming platform, Mixer, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, stream the new SMITE adventure, and then submit our form. Send us your VOD link, and we'll send you skin codes. It's that easy.
just
It's
stream the game or streaming the adventure.
streaming the adventure.
Okay,
Yeah.
just want to check because I like to stream.
That's
but
right.
I'm
Yeah.
a conquest
You got to
guy,
be
kinda.
streaming the adventure.
All right.
Ajax is super excited
The
about this event. Like, I
adventure.
can't get him to calm down around
Yeah.
the office.
Now that's on Tuesday. We can get that
It's
if you
not
want to
an
stream the game
adventure,
there, and
it's
then you just have some
joust.
freebies. But play up weekend.
Yeah, this weekend,
Don't
grab your
call it
friends,
adventure.
party up, earn double rewards. 2 times favor worshippers and XP just for playing in a party.
Arvin,
Oh,
you say you
sure,
play
they've
on
got
the
a picture
Chogo
of
in
Chernobog
a
here, but
game with
no,
Squishup
can't
versus
nerf him.
Pros.
If you can call that playing,
you gonna be
yes.
playing some more of that? Is that going to work out well?
Maybe, we'll see.
Yeah,
I got to prep for the split, but you know.
that's a
That's
good
right,
point.
yeah.
You do.
Yep.
Five obviously players you were playing with consistently. You could go and make a team with them again.
I could.
Okay. Thanks for joining me though, guys. Nice and quick and to the point. It's time though to move on to the skin section.
right.
Maybe I'll show you a little bit. I don't know. What skin shall I look at for a minute? Let's look at Bellona.
I was reborn from the flames of the Elder Dragons. They chose me to rally the strong and righteous and fight for all that is just at any cost.
Dragon.
I, Divine Dragon Bellona, have arrived.
Well, there's your first little look at the Bellona skin. We'll dive into it a little bit
Dragon.
later on. However, the one thing that you got to look forward to, though, is all the other skins before that. What I'll do, first of all,
boy.
is introduce the people joining me on the set as per usual.
Other
Excuse me, I'm
skins.
gonna cough. This is what happened to Aggro that time when he did it, didn't he? He just started coughing around me. Ben, Tina, and of course, John joined us. How you guys doing?
Good.
What is
What
that?
does she?
This is bread. Spread is my stress relief
Baguette.
baguette.
It's a baguette.
So it's a loaf.
Do you want to feel it?
You're pinching a loaf
wanna
on screen
feel
right
him?
now. Is that what's happening?
You want to
here?
feel him?
I have been off this section for a few minutes, a few weeks, and now
wanna feel
you're on
him.
set touching
Feel
bread up.
him. Okay.
Let's get in game.
He
Let's
smells
get
good
on with it.
too.
Vulcan skin. You guys have wanted it. Here it is. Finally, community
Yes!
requested. How much work has gone into this?
A lot.
Yeah, a good bit. I mean, it's
All the spices, man. All the spices.
the whole team really went the extra mile on this one.
They can't see your
do a
hand
hand
gesture.
gesture.
Tina, we're not on screen right now. You just waving your hand
No one can
around
see it.
does not make any sense to those people at home. Oh, look
I
at
got
the oven
nothing.
in the background. Okay. On the back, he's got an oven now.
Vulcan!
So we
I
made
can't
sure
even
that,
focus
the
on the
concept
skin
was
after
done by
everything that's happened.
Rob Draws, and the fans loved it. So we wanted to make sure that we stayed as close to that concept as possible and bring it into the game.
So he's got a pizzeria, is what we're going with here, then, right?
Uh-huh.
On his back.
Look at that meat sauce.
Yeah, dude.
It's saucy.
It is saucy. Saucy.
That makes a lot of sense. And the backfire too. Ooh.
There we go.
What's up?
Is that like tomato
Oh,
sauce?
there's that.
Or tomato sauce?
It's
I
like
don't know how you
like
guys
it's
say it.
that mixed
Tomato.
with some heat and stuff like
Tomato, I'm
that.
sorry. I'm too posh for this show.
Check out the
Mamma
Little
mia!
turret, a little meat grinder.
Mamma
Or
mia!
like meatballs or something.
yeah.
I want to see the meatball. That's
Oh,
all
that's
that
the
matters.
next one. That's the meatball.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
real meatball.
It's there.
Show me the real meatball. That's what I
The
like.
real meatball.
Oh, I like
There
the
we
target
go.
on that
Oh
too.
my god.
There it is.
Spicy
sauce.
meatballs!
With a
So, for
spaghetti.
anyone who doesn't know, the Chef Vulcan skin actually did originate because people used to call the third ability a meatball because that's what it
Yep.
looked like. And ever since then, everyone's always wanted this Chef Vulcan skin, and
Spicy
the community
meatballs!
cascaded, and now we finally done it.
Now it's history.
That's a
question is, though,
spicy
what's the-
meatball.
I love how it looks like a dining room floor, like the targeter of the
Eat
ultimate.
spaghetti.
Oh yeah, the
It's okay.
effects seem
To be
gotten
perfectly
really crazy
honest,
for this.
Sauce, dude.
It's okay.
Nothing better than
The
a bit of
skin
secret
seems
sauce,
fine.
Tina.
So the missiles are cans of spaghetti sauce.
Oh, what? Sorry?
The missiles? Cans of spaghetti sauce.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
If you get up close, there's even like a Chef Vulcan like
Sour.
brand logo on the side
Mm-hmm.
and everything. Might be hard to see, but
Maybe you could slow it down. Yeah.
his face is on the
Yeah,
side and everything.
Pon.
I was about to
He's doing
call
it.
Pon out then, because he should be able to do that tech for
He's
us,
doing
hopefully.
it. Yeah, here we go.
Can he track the missiles? That's the question.
Oh, look at it!
Pon's a
Catch it.
wizard.
Oh my god, he's
Vulcan's
getting good. He's getting good.
Secret sauce.
And a cameraman, please.
Oh, that's cool.
Pon's
It's like
really good.
sitting
Oh,
on,
yeah,
like,
That is too much
cheese.
detail on those cans that you can barely see during
We
it.
want
You,
him to go. We want to come correct.
you
for this
artists go way too hard. Like,
going
no
the
one's going to
extra
see
mile.
those little written details. It's great.
They just don't know.
Well, I do know it's
The
got a
effects
DSP
just
as
seem
well.
kind of,
What's
I
this
don't
one?
It has
know.
a multitude
I don't
of
know.
stuff.
There's a whole pizza.
They just
You
don't.
can
They don't
go
seem
with
like
pizza.
super high
Flip in the
quality. I don't
pizza,
know.
and you can run across
That's
the
cool,
map
though.
with it.
30 minutes or less, or you lose the match.
I like that one. I like that line. That's a good one. What else is this to do with this one? I heard there's also maybe a recall animation or something.
The brand new recall as well.
I know.
Whoops.
That's really good.
Like, we slipped that one off as well. Well, I think the
I don't
only thing
know.
on this is the voice
It
pack.
doesn't particularly
Oh,
tickle my pickle
Pinch
the
and
way
salt.
that I thought that
Yeah,
it
that's
would.
fine.
That's what that was.
It seems you want to be tenderized.
Perfect.
Community asked for it. They got
Wow!
I'm glad the voice pack sounds exactly as expected. it to for a show.
Bellissimo! I am the People's Vulcan. I am the People's Vulcan. You are one juicy meatball.
The voice back's
Somebody
good though.
touch my spaghetti.
It's perfectly troll.
Attack middle lane. Attack right lane.
perfectly
Attack the
troll.
Titan. You playing well is like a good filet mignon. Rare.
It's bad. The voice back is so troll.
Vulcan,
It's exactly as
tenderizer,
bad as
and
the
all
voice
of that
pack needed to
available
be.
in the next patch. Now, just so you guys know, this skin will be discounted. I've got here. It's
exactly
only
as
for
bad
the
as they
duration of
needed to be.
516. So as soon as this patch comes out, get your Vulcan
I
skin.
wish the rest of the skin
straight
was better
away,
because I
and
think
you'll
the
get yourself
the
a nice
voice
little
pack is
discount for
perfectly
doing
troll.
so as well.
For this
and
skin.
Can run round with pizzas.
Yeah, and thanks for the community for helping me write this because it's like 95% community written.
Everything.
all
voice-
those
all the voice
lines.
lines?
This
Yeah.
is purely for
Yeah.
the community. Yeah.
I snuck in some ally tribute into it too.
Oh, really?
so-
This is definitely a community love letter.
I'll have to listen into that for sure. I did
Yes,
hear one or two
sure.
for highlighted there already. Moving on then to Titanium Tracker Jabulonke. is the next one on the list today. Now, this is one of these styles that we've been doing a little bit more of here or there. I feel
don't like this
It goes kind
style.
of with the Odin.
It feels
and
like
Zeus
this.
skin
It
of
feels like a
release recently. It's
superhero
kinda like making
like
that sort of
So this
vibe,
is kind
and
of
I
very similar to
just-
those, but this
yeah.
we add a little bit of fashion on top of it to try to like
It
just
just
add a little
doesn't
more
do it
flavor
for
for
me.
this one. So
I'm
it's,
not
it's
saying
kind
that
of
people
like
don't
a
like it, like,
modern
that's
ninja.
fine.
So he's got like some,
but like
well, maybe more like a futuristic one, but it's got some
Sure.
modern kind of
It just-
clothing, some like techie stuff, but then it's also a cyborgy kind of ninja dude.
Why the
It's like a
scarf,
weird
Alex? The scarf's
cross
really
of,
interesting
like,
because like the only piece I've ever associated with the scarf
futuristic
has
and
always
like
been
Black Panther,
Najat.
and they just I
You know,
just
just the
I
sash,
just
but
I don't know. It
It,
doesn't
it,
work. For
like
it
me.
helps
flow.
exaggerate like the movements, right? Like ninjas, like the scarf stuff just really
Doesn't
helps
work for
sell
me.
kind of the flow when you do animation.
Poor
and
man's
stuff like that,
Iron
so
Man.
we
Yeah,
thought it was cool
exactly.
to add.
Yeah.
Look
And it's
like
very
it's
I don't
interesting
know.
looking.
moving
Cool
quicker
pattern
too.
going down it.
Let's see what the basics look like. And the embolers too.
Yeah, they're more like shurikens now.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Poison darts on top of that. I love the blue effects. It's nice. Stands out clear. And of course the ultimate too. Darkest of Night. All the effects at the end are nice.
The little
They're
grid
lovely.
walls. Yeah,
Yeah.
very cool.
That's sick.
Just not my favorite style.
Okay, that's good. We'll move on to the
at the end
voice
of the
pack
day,
then
it's
for it.
just
You guys were not very
aesthetic, so,
talkative during that one at all. Like
We want the fans to hear
you
the
would
stuff.
okay. See, that's what happens
They
because everyone's like,
always
no,
say,
shut
"Let
up
us
so we
hear
can
They
your
hear.
get mad at
voice
us for
lines."
talking, so we, so you guys enjoy.
Let's have a listen to that voice pack.
Woo! Attack left lane. Attack right lane. Attack the Titan. Defend. Woo! Top notch.
Even Shibalanke knows he's underwhelming right now.
Woo! You might miss your own death. You thought you could stop me. By yourself.
Mercury, is that you? All their voice packs are starting to sound the same. At least the Spicy Meatball voice pack sounded different.
That was two voice lines together, guys. Don't get confused.
What is a ninja's favorite drink? What?
Oh my gosh, get me out. Moving on swiftly after that line. Tina, that was something to do with you for sure. Midnight Raven Isis, the masquerade ball is here.
At least this skin's cool.
The card art's
I mean,
amazing.
I think I probably like
I think
Celestial
game
Isis
actually
more,
looks
but
really
this skin's
solid too, like,
different.
with how this has come together.
It's
here.
just, it's
So
just different.
obviously the
I
theme
like
is
the
a
different,
masquerade
where you get like a
ball,
whole
right?
different aesthetic,
And
and
what
it's
was
not
the
really like
inspiration behind this?
copying
Where
of
do we get
another
the
skin
idea
in the
from? Is it
game,
because,
you
like,
know?
she's a regal girl anyways, our Isis.
We saw the the wing she has, and we're like, we're thinking Raven.
Spell effects could be cool on this too.
Really cool to have added to that kind of theme, a masquerade kind of thing, right? So we started coming up with some cool designs, and as a result, like one of our newest concept artists, Kiana Ham, she worked on it. She killed it, and it's like a really like interesting kind of take on her. I think
She's got good
it's
auto
a little
attack
modern,
effects, which is cool.
So
That's
I think
important.
it looks really nice.
Yeah, and Isis actually is portrayed as a goddess of the moon, so it works out. The midnight moon
Okay.
kind of theme.
And I think some of these abilities,
they
you'll be able to
went
see
with,
some
like, a
moons
dark
involved in them,
theme.
that's for sure. Obviously, that's a Wingus
Pretty
too.
cool sound effect
Looks
on the
iconic
one
there.
as well.
I know the two, definitely the Spirit Ball looks
The
like
model could have been a
giant
little bit
moon. I had a
better.
look at this earlier on.
Spirit Ball's
moon,
okay.
I like that
Huge
little
moon of
note.
death.
That little,
Yeah,
I
know,
kind of
Steve
would have.
Warren, no,
That's
duh.
okay.
This is going to
And the
connect
moon
with you as
pops
well.
up again.
That's exactly what it is.
Three's
Obviously,
kinda
it has
cool.
silence too. Don't know, it's a protection shred.
Can you
But it also gives it to herself. Very OP ability. And finally, the ultimate. Is that staff in the middle she's got there?
Yeah, she actually deploys her staff
Oh, that's
for her
cool.
ultimate, and she leaves it there. So.
So actually throws the staff down.
Yeah, so she doesn't hold her staff right now.
Oh, and the
until-
staff disappears. Yeah,
Yes,
that's really cool.
Until it's done. and
Kind of
it
hit
comes
and
back.
miss for me. Kind of hit and miss.
Yeah, the animations have really changed because like some of the old school animations we see from season 1, season 2,
Oh, yeah.
like they'd still have the spear in the hand or whatever, and now like it actually goes away during
Yeah,
those
each
segments too.
patchman, we're trying to go back
Certainly-
and revisit these old gods and really.
I
up
don't
the
think
quality on
it's
Well, this Raven
terrible,
Ice
but I
skin
don't
will
think
be
it's
available
great.
in the
I think
next
it's
patch. Let's have a
fine.
listen to that voice pipe that comes along with it.
Attack left lane. Attack right lane. Defend. Fabulous. So you can dance. I'm the life of the ball. No, thank you. I would not like to dance with you. You aren't fooling anyone with that mask. I know who you are. I love masquerade balls. I don't have to worry about seeing your face. What do you get when you cross a raven with a moon goddess? a raven lunatic.
Okay, well, we
We do have a
There is
VXG
a
for this.
VXG for this?
If Pawn is hooked up. There we go.
Oh, she's riding the moon.
So the stars,
That's
the
cool.
sky box, and everything does change FX.
Can't be
TV
buying
code on
a
this
can't be
one.
buying a skin from the
It's
VXG.
done by Mel.
But that's the coolest part of the
Does
Does
skin
that
by
skyline
far.
change for everybody, kind of
which
like
is
the
kind of
Anubis
rough.
skins do when they use
Which
the
is kind
ultimate
of
position?
rough.
Everyone should be able to see that.
That's cool. All right, that looks really different. It's like a nighttime version of Conquester. And that happens in every game mode too, I guess.
I feel like
so.
the coolest part of your skin shouldn't be an emo.
That's really
but
cool.
like,
Oh,
you know.
that is really cool.
I could almost just watch that for a few minutes quite
I want
happily.
to see her
then.
from the front. Pawn, can we see her from the front, please?
She waves at you and stuff like
Oh,
that.
really?
Is she waving as she goes around? What up? Oh, she's like the Queen of
really
England.
neat. Oh, she
Hello,
blows you a
hello,
kiss.
lovely day.
Oh.
Don't mind me sitting on my moon.
That's
the way it's
really
going to
cute.
be.
Yeah.
All right, next up then. Have we gone through everything here? Yeah, we did. I would just wait, cause sure, I've not done skins in a while. I'm like, have I
Good,
forgotten
man.
something?
Skins are kind of underwhelming about it.
The Admiral is upon us.
This skin's gotta be crazy.
This dude's pretty
This skin's
badass.
gotta be
Has
cool.
arrived. What is that
Human
golden dragon in the background? I'm
Outquang,
sure
like,
we'll get to
come
that
on.
in a
Sure,
minute.
it's a
How
dragon.
this
It's
skin
a
can't
dragon.
possibly
Okay,
go
that's
wrong.
good.
This
I'll
is just
give
a
it
cool
that.
skin, right?
So he's still
Nothing
using a
wrong with that.
rapier. I was having this conversation about Pompon earlier about whether or not
Friggin'
it was,
handsome McHandsome feast, like ship captain.
whether or not it was a
like,
different weapon
badass
to do
human
with Pirates
quang.
of Cutlass, but obviously Cutlasses are a little bit curved. So
He's
it's not
not
the
really
case
a
here.
pirate, though.
Is he not?
No.
No, he's not a pirate. He's like a.
You're right.
He's
You're
like an
right.
admiral.
He's an
Yeah.
He's a good
see?
guy. Yeah.
It was an evil Al Kwang that it would be a pirate ship Al Kwang.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an admiral. He's a good
This is
guy.
like his
okay.
first good guy skin. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And for
it
human
feels weird.
skin.
Al Kwang is a
He's
good
human.
guy.
Yes, the first skin that he's human.
Yo, look at those water effects.
Okay, that's cool.
They're really nice.
That's cool.
You remind me a little bit of the
That's
Vulcan.
cool. Those are cool little
Volcano
effects on
Hebo.
there,
I don't know
too.
what the name of the skin is. The
Looks like
Hebo with like the
ocean and
volcanic.
stuff.
So the
Hebo?
colors are obviously blue
Okay.
instead of
Yeah,
red.
yeah,
but
yeah, for sure.
It has that tech to it. It feels like.
Yep.
Oh, those dragons are so pretty. I don't really nerd out on skins that much, but like certain animations and stuff, I'm
Wait
like,
till you see.
I like these.
Wait till you see
Cool.
what's coming up next, man.
Yeah.
Animations
You're
are
sweet,
cool.
man. You're sweet.
What's next?
Let's do it.
I mean, it's just a
Give us
dude
the-
with a sword and some dragons.
Works
and,
for me.
There
You know,
go.
he
gotta
beats
get
you
them
up
down.
in execution and.
Here you go.
Oh my God, he's on a boat!
He's on a boat.
And he's on the boat.
He's
right in the front.
He's like on the front of the
On
boat.
a
dude.
boat.
Does he actually
if you
say
get
that
the
when he
skin,
ult
guys,
these
you just gotta play
people?
Lonely Island on cooldown the whole
That wasn't
time.
real, right? It doesn't
And you go
actually
around.
do
Such
that,
a
In
right?
the sound
Skin,
effects,
dude.
we thought it'd be trouble if we did.
I just want you all to realize as well that
Okay, it didn't
this is our very
actually
first,
do
pay
that.
to
They
win
just
skin.
happened to play it at the
as
exact
you land
same
in this
time.
boat form, it does do
It doesn't
triple
actually
damage.
play that.
Because it is a boat crashing
I was
into
about
you,
to
so that is
say.
what you'd expect. So
Yeah, we were super excited to find something thematic for the skin that's not a dragon, right?
Sure.
Just another dragon. So
I
he's
mean,
an
what
admiral, put him on
It
a
looks
boat.
really cool in the
technically,
sky.
it's a dragon boat. It's got a
It
dragon
has a
head.
dragon
in it,
front.
So
Yeah, we had to redo the entire set of animation for this jersey. He killed it on it. And
this skin looks
felt
absolutely
totally
amazing. This skin looks really, really
Really
fun.
amazing, yeah.
Let's have a little listen to this voice pack, man.
Yes. Attack left lane. Attack right lane. Attack
Man,
middle
all
lane.
voice packs sound the same to
Defend.
me nowadays. I can't tell the difference between any of them.
Spectacular. You're commander material. Call me Admiral. You can try and commandeer my ship. Emphasis on try. Pirates are never welcome on board. So I was eating alphabet soup, and all of a sudden, I found all 7 C's.
Man.
I was waiting for it. Where's the hook?
Oh my goodness me. For those who are confused in chat right now as well, we played the song I'm on a boat. It's not in the game, chat. Stop being silly. That's the politest word I could use on air right then of silly. The production played Lonely Island for them as the skin came out.
No.
And now everyone's tweaking out that it's actually in the game. When really,
It's not in the
no. Copyright laws would technically prevent us from doing that.
I have an interesting fact. So if you guys ever watched Harlock Space Pirate, I think it's called Harlock
Captain,
Space
yeah.
Pirate.
What?
He's the guy, David Matranga, who voiced this skin as well. So,
Oh, okay. So we did the voice line for that, and he's also been in. Okay,
like, he's the main character. He's Harlock.
gotcha. See, I don't watch that much anime or cartoony stuff, so I don't.
It's not.
It's
This one's
never
not.
gonna come
It's an animated movie.
Okay.
It's like Pixar kind of, but not, but darker.
Okay. And that's the same voice.
I think it's based on anime, though.
Yeah, I think so too.
2 more skins to go, boys and girls. Let's move
Did
it
you say
along. then
Captain
to
Hard
Hoots and
Cock?
Pele. This looks really good. I mean, she's only just come out and she's already got a pretty badass skin here.
Oh, yeah.
So what was the idea behind this one?
What kind of movie is she
We
watching?
saw a lot of like cool color stuff with their base.
I
And, like,
don't
what if we change those
understand.
colors to be like more like sci-fi and
don't
like, neon
understand.
and stuff like that?
I like the addition of the visor. Like,
Yeah.
just the visor being added to it
Harlock.
just makes it a little bit more so, like, more interesting. You
I
could've
thought she was doing
not
a
had the
Tina
visor, but I
thing.
don't think it would have sold it as well, you know?
I thought she was
It's hard to
trolling
do
doing a
visors,
Tina
they
thing.
cost more,
Harlock.
material-wise. We don't have visors everywhere. So we went the extra mile with this one.
Got it. My bad.
Love the look of this skin. It looks absolutely...
Okay.
And we made sure that in this one, like usually she has a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
We try to really make it a little bit played down so that when she does have that ability hit,
That's cool.
like you'll see
This skin's
it
cool.
really flare up.
This skin's
They
cool.
look great.
Pew-pew.
That's cool.
That's a good effect. Good sound
I still
effect.
haven't learned
Good
the
spell
ability names for Pele
effect.
yet, so I'm
Like
going
it,
to go
like
through
it.
them, boys and girls at home. I'm sorry.
Cool.
But I do know
cool.
that does a lot of damage and knocks.
That's great. This is the best so
It
far.
looks really good.
This is the
It's
best
almost
effect
completely
so far.
sounds like
The
Pele
sounds are
already.
getting me right there, man.
It's such a departure from the original Pele, who's like organic and
And that's why I'm so
Very
surprised with it
nature-themed.
being so new as well.
Yeah.
Like, we don't normally do
Okay.
such big changes to it so quickly, but this looks amazing. That's obviously a speed
down.
steroid, the extra damage. And of course, it's going to have the
I like
ultimate
it. I
too.
like
Just
it.
see
It's very
taking away those
different.
little sparks connecting. The trail's amazing. That was the wrong way.
Now
Paul.
that I think about it, her
There
ultimate
we
kind of looks
Whoa,
like it
giant
belongs in
thunderstorm,
this
doesn't
skin
it?
to begin with. You know what I'm saying?
that's cool.
It actually, now that I think
That is
about
really
it,
cool.
her ulti actually gives me
What do
this
you want to do first?
vibe
Voice pack
more
or
than it
I
gives
heard it's
me
got a
like
VXG.
it also has
her
a
original
VXG.
What do you
huh?
prefer?
which is
Let's go ahead and do the
Yeah,
VXG.
oh,
Okay.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
this is really cool. So
She's actually on
I
daggers.
worked
That's
on
kinda
this,
cool.
Kind of pitched the idea of free line skating, which I
Yeah.
didn't really know was a thing, and then it looked really cool on it. So
That's
it's
cool.
a rollerblade.
So she's
but
kind of taking a
it's
kinda
blade
cool.
and put on her feet.
Yeah.
That's cool. And she just do that all around the map too.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's gonna be pizzas everywhere and
Yeah.
moons
What a
and now
patch, right?
skating.
Just has
Meow.
VXGs everywhere, man.
Everyone's getting VXGs
that is.
now.
This is really cool. It's
Yeah.
it's actually really relaxing to just watch her like glide everywhere.
Yeah.
To be
The
honest,
ulti
if you
gives
just
the
saw it in the
mechanical
corner of your
effect
eye
where-
running through the
yeah,
jungle,
yeah,
you might
Look,
think
and
it's
you can use
nausea.
your speed buff with it.
Yeah.
Two Najas and one patch.
Najas in one patch. Yeah, I've got two, but so many references to it.
It's good.
Maybe he's getting a buff next patch. Who knows? Well, let's move on then to the voice pack for the Pele skin before we move on to the final skin we've got to show you today.
Swear to God, if they buff
Attack
Nedja.
left lane. Attack right lane. Attack! Attack the Titan! Defend!
It just sounds like every other god to me.
What?
That one didn't.
You are pretty
That didn't.
alright. Absolutely legendary. Aren't I just the best? Do not get on my nerves. My anger is quick and explosive. This thing is covering a lot of my face, right? So how does rain still get in my eye? Money doesn't buy happiness, but it buys so much other stuff.
Maybe I just don't know what any of the gods sound like, so they just all sound the same to me. But
She's got a very stern
maybe
voice
there's
to
just
this
so
one,
many
hasn't she?
voice
Where she's
cracks
very
that
serious
eventually
about it, but at
everybody's
the
gonna
same
sound like
time,
everybody because there's like
when things are
800
going well,
voice
she'll be
cracks or
happy.
whatever.
Yeah.
is what you look forward to in that.
You know.
That's Heat Pele. That'll be available in the next patch. And last, but certainly not least, you've all been waiting for it. It's finally here. It's the new Tier 5 skin, Divine Dragon
Giant
Bellona.
Bellona
This
skis.
is the ultimate reward from the Divine.
They literally put
Uprising.
an item in the game for her to make her better.
Just we've already seen little clips of
So
this.
you
I'm
would
really
buy
excited. I've
her
not actually
tier
seen it in
5
game
skin.
myself yet, so this is my
Really?
first time seeing it too.
Oh.
And I believe it changes
whole item.
based off stance, right?
Just
Yes.
Yes, on the ability
That's
that you
crazy.
use.
Yeah.
So let's
So
take
tell
a
me through
moment.
the design choices of what we went
That's a
for and where.
big
you know,
ol'
what was the
sword,
reason for
folks.
each, I guess.
So the whole
look very
thing
sharp.
behind
That's
this
a
is
big
we
ol'
wanted to have her
sword.
be like a champion for these kind of like dragons.
Dang.
So like with each stance change, we wanted to have
big
like
papa
a
sword.
different kind of dragon form that she
Okay.
works for. So you'll see as we go through the different types, there's like a hammer one, there's like
Slap.
the whip, and they all kind of have different colors and different themes to be like an avatar for these different
That's
dragons.
amazing.
Yeah. Her shield's dope.
You can just put Ares in that right
Okay,
now.
that
if
looks
you're
pretty
at
dope.
home as well. Oh, it's hammer time.
This one's my
Hammer
favorite.
time. She switches forms.
Yeah, dude.
You know, upon slow-mo, letting you just absorb
Yeah.
Yeah,
all
sometimes
the
you don't need
detail
words.
work.
Just
yeah,
watch the animations and see
there's
how
so
amazing
much
they look.
work
I
that
love
went
the
into
flaming
like all
hammer.
3 different
Yeah,
models
dude.
here. and more.
That's his favorite.
Okay,
one.
I like the
my favorite.
sword
My favorite's
look
green.
better.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's not terrible, but I like the sword look
Your favorite's
better.
green?
I think the
My
sword
favorite's
looks
green.
cleaner.
I've always seen
Green's
blue and red.
flail.
Oh, it's
That one.
Scourge time. Okay.
Ooh, whip looks.
She really
interesting.
reminds me of a dragon.
Oh, whip
She's
is like
really horny. Horns.
sexy Bellona?
Horns are always a plus.
Yes.
Like,
she has
to
horns.
signify
like
dragons.
whip
That's
me, Bellona?
So we try to
kinda-
make
that's
sure that
kinda
each of the kind of the visuals of each of these felt appropriate for like
Okay.
like there's the whip's
Interesting.
like more fast and like it's like it looks more
Interesting.
like lacerated, more critical strike kind of feel to it. So we made sure that she felt a little more nimble and quicker and agile, but still like had aggressive shapes on her. With the shield and stuff, we want to go with more of like a traditional kind of like armored warrior kind of person, and then with the hammer, we wanted to make sure it felt really kind of
Meaty.
just real aggressive.
Yes, meaty.
Real
She
aggressive.
has
Big
a full
hits, big
helm.
swing.
It doesn't show the
Yeah.
face. Yeah.
God,
Okay.
just on their own, that's amazing. How
I think
quickly
out
they
of the three, I
transform
think the sword
fluidly
looks
as
the
well.
coolest.
There was a lot of work put into making that
Personally.
happen too.
I can imagine that's probably the difficult thing, because like such a quick animation to be able to make it turn and look good as it turns.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean that's only one facet of it, right? I mean tech art, like Chris Miller and Jeff, like on that team, those two guys really help carry it home.
Oh yeah.
I love the little mark of the scourge with the
I
design.
feel like the
too. You
whip
can just
form
see, like,
feels
the
a
green
little
effect
bit
that
weird
connects
with
with them too,
Bellona,
which is
but-
awesome.
It's my favorite one.
Gives you an idea about it as well.
Like she's like
So
this
she's got
heavy,
this
like
ability.
tanky
Alright,
armor
so
thing.
dope.
Get ready,
Ability.
because this
Ability.
is pretty cool.
But let's see how this looks. Dragon.
Oh,
On
it's a
the
dragon.
ultimate, she summons a dragon.
That's right.
That's amazing.
Breathe it in.
Dragon.
Ash is gonna be in the sky the whole time the ult, so that's great.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
can
that's the
see it
other-
from like everywhere. It's really cool.
Well, you know when Bellona's ult's down,
Okay.
I guess that's gonna help in a lot of ways too. As the eagles really wow.
I want to see what the actual. Doesn't the ulti have its own little form?
Yeah,
Oh no, the ulti
it's
doesn't have its own form. Aw.
fun. Fun.
That would have been cool if you ulted for the
Oh
duration
my
of the
god,
ulti.
he's having like
Force form.
so much
I guess you
fun.
did.
You can't do this in game.
That would have been cool.
You can actually do this
Yeah,
in
for you
game.
guys at home, not really gonna happen. Maybe if you play one of the infinite cooldown
But
modes that are available now and again.
You can summon a dragon that you can
There
do.
may be a
what?
VXG.
Oh,
There may be
Maybe.
a VXG.
another VXG
You just
on
spoiled
another
it
skin.
before we get to it, Tina.
Oh, I'm
What
sorry,
the heck?
I'm sorry. I'm
We're
sorry.
still looking at the ultimate.
There you go. So you actually summon a dragon
No way!
for the VXG that flies around the map,
Wait,
and then
what?
it can disappear.
It just flies around the map.
fly the
Yeah,
map.
so
All
watch.
maps. It
She'll do
works
it
on
again.
all maps.
See, look.
You have to hear this giant dragon's roar is real cool.
Okay.
You can hear
cool.
it. Yeah.
No way. So she's literally could just spawn a dragon that's just gonna chill and fly around the map.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Gold Fury when it spawns, sort of
Correct.
thing. That's crazy. And that works in every game mode too, obviously. Yeah.
Correct.
I mean, the skin's cool, but like,
I'm really scared of the future of
It
Smite
is pretty
sometimes when you guys do
expensive to
this
get
stuff, you know, because,
everything
I'm
in order to get the
Okay, so
skin,
not
you
only are we
know?
going to have these gods
like
of
a-
battling
it's like a
out in the
10,000 or-
arenas,
it's like, what is
we're
it,
also going to
6,
have these
7, 8,
other mythical
9,
creatures
10,000
flying around the
gems.
map
You
doing
gotta
battle
buy
abilities, right?
You gotta buy a
And
lot
it's
of
like,
stuff
oh,
to
well,
get it,
I lost the
so.
fight on the ground, but at least my Pokemon in the sky did well, you know? That's the main
Still a
thing.
bit, decent bit of
This
cash.
skin looks awesome.
Why is
What's
it
next
like?
on this? The
Why
voice
is
pack
it
thing, I
like
guess?
booty skirt Bellona?
Yeah.
It just feels weird on her three. I don't know.
Different.
What?
Her three, her whip feels
Really?
feels
Yeah, she
weird
has
to
different
me.
voice packs.
So
With
each
like,
down
the,
to
Attack
like,
left
like the
lane.
booby, booty cheek
Attack right
Bellona
lane.
skin in the middle of her like
Attack the
decked out
Titan.
armor.
Yes! Proud of you. Ha! Attack left lane. Yes! Proud of you. Attack left lane.
Someone's lying to me because I don't hear 3 different voice packs right now, Tina.
There, you have to play like abilities and what do you call them? Jokes and stuff, and taunts. They're different.
Try the jokes and the taunts, Pom
Yeah,
Pom.
do the taunts, Pon. Do
Get
the
it
taunts.
right, Pom Pom.
You are powerless against the Dragonborn. Resistance is futile, mortal. Why are dragons large, gold, and scaly? Because if they were small, pale, and smelly, they would be humans. I would really like to avoid fighting you, mortal.
You see, like there's tone, there's tonal
Sometimes I
differences.
wonder
I can
if
definitely hear
peace
it now,
between
yeah.
dragons and humans is worth fighting for.
That was weird.
But then I remember their smug faces, and I'm ready for war.
Now, this skin comes from the Divine Uprising, which has been the event that everyone's been doing
Correct.
for and grinding for so long.
If you purchase all 3 chapters, you get this.
Okay, so all you have to do is purchase all 3 chapters and you're done. You can just get the skin. That's great. That dragon is so insane.
Hey, don't miss it. This is an amazing skin.
I just don't know what to say about this pack because there's so many good skins here. I don't even know which one's my favorite right now. I'm kind of sold on Admiral Akbar or Alcorn, really. Whatever I hear. Ever I hear Admiral, I'm always going to say Akbar. I can't help it.
I mean,
trap,
he can
you know?
say, yeah, he can lay traps
But I mean,
for you.
he's got a boat, but then Bellona's got dragons now.
Yeah.
And
It's a
then
good skin, and it's a
Vulcan's
tier
got
5 and all that
meatballs
stuff,
and
but like
pizzas.
it's
Yeah.
not even close to
It's a
Thanatos.
rough-
Thanatos is still up here for me.
It's worth it, man.
Crazy. Favorite skin?
I'd probably put it on tier for me.
Oh,
with,
tier
like
5.
It's got to be the tier
the
5.
Thor
yeah.
skin, but the Thor skin is my least
I think
favorite
Chef
tier
Vulcan,
5 so far.
honestly.
So like,
Oh, Chef
how
Vulcan.
many are there?
All about Bellona, man.
It's
That
all about
dragon.
Anna,
I just want some of that dragon.
Gooby.
You know?
Chef Vulcan also
Thor
has an
Bellona?
announcer pack.
Is that how many
I
there are?
forgot to mention that.
Yeah, he also has
before
an
we
announcer
go,
pack.
the
So
last
I
thing
wrote
I'll
one
mention
for
is
you
there's
guys.
going to be an announcer pack alongside the Vulcan skin, right? So you
Yeah,
guys
it's in the
can get
it's bundled.
the interesting Chef Vulcan announcer pack with that
Although
too,
the
as well
Ares
as the
could
Jeff
be
and
badass
Bella
when it
announcer
comes
pack
out
that's
this
going to be
year.
available too. But that's all we've got time for today. Patch.
Oh,
should be
Uller has a tier 5.
out
Uller's tier 5 is
on
good.
Tuesday. Is that Johnny one?
Thana,
Another week
Uller,
on Tuesday, yeah.
And the PTS
Gooby.
will be out relatively soon. Keep an eye on social media. I'm sure we'll announce what it is. I don't want to turn around and say tonight just in
Below
case
the
it's
Thor.
not. But generally, they try and get it for the
Around the
weekends as
same.
well. That's it, though, from everyone here on the Casual Set and the Update Show. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time for some more action and adventures.
I would have
We'll see you
Goobies
later.
above
Have a good
Uller,
evening.
except for the fact that Goobies is hard. You can't even use Goobies. Maybe Goobas tier 5 should actually be at the bottom because you can't even flip and use the tier 5 Gooby skin because you're so friggin' thick that you can't see your ability effects go off, and so it's way harder to hit your abilities. Even though it looks cooler than the other skins. I never use it because it's so much harder to hit your abilities. Okay, so that was the patch notes today. They introduced a new item to bring back auto attack warriors into the meta. Coincidentally, right as a tier 5 Bellona skin's coming out. Coincidentally. The skins today felt pretty underwhelming. The Bellona tier 5 is fine. It's fine for a tier 5, is what I would say. They didn't nerf any of the top 6 pick band gods in ranked right now, which is disappointing to me. They nerfed Pwash into the ground, who wasn't even good in Conquest, which means they're also partially balancing the game for modes that are not Conquest, which is the only competitive game mode in Smite. Which we knew that they've done before, but that's also disappointing because Pwash was finally like medium playable. Like you could like play him in Conquest and not be a total idiot, but now you won't be able to play him at all anymore because he's gonna be so terrible, which sucks. But yeah, I mean, on the whole, definitely could have been better god balance changes. The skins could have been better. Nothing seemed to be like terrible, but I mean, I take that back. The one thing that is terrible is the fact that they didn't nerf any of the gods that are broken. So you still got to insta-ban your Freya, your Nezhas, your Ravens, your Lokis, you know what I'm saying? Like all those Chernobyl, all those gods that are like the exact, like they get pick banned every single game. You got to keep picking and banning them, for a whole nother patch like